you spoke about culture, right? So can we just explain to people what is culture, especially in a startup, and how does it form?
I think culture is a trickle down effect, right? Like initially you start off, you're the only one on your Slack channel, and then you add people, and realistically you can maintain like 4 to 6 maybe close, meaningful relationships at work, and then how you interact with them, the transparency you share with them, they kind of take that forward with their 4 to 5 people who they are managing. So for me, in terms of culture, it's one is obviously giving them that sense of purpose, like why you're coming into work, and like I said, just feeling challenged. You're not here to be comfortable. We are not family. We are a team. Like you are as good as your last, sale, or you're as good as your last performance. So it does sound harsh, but like good people want that environment where they can prove themselves time and again, and like smash goals and targets, and just like yearly kind of build on themselves and build their confidence. And like it's the same thing, like we say we want to 2x the company or 3x the company, and they're doing that at a personal level. And are we enabling them? If the answer is yes, then we're probably doing a good job with culture.
Hmm. Interesting, yeah.
So the aspects of culture that for me is beyond, of course, what we're doing at work in order to achieve our goals, timelines, targets, etc. I think it's very important for us to have a very respectful environment because, I mean, we've worked with people in the past, we've done jobs that didn't have good culture. You didn't want to show up to work the next morning, you don't like your boss. And, you know, you shouldn't want to not come to work just because of the fear of how people treat you or, any sort of, I'd say, dirty politics that go on. So for me, building that aspect of the culture was very important, right? It was very important for me to know that my team members are fine if they made a mistake. So even today, if somebody messes up, it's fine. We're all there to support that one person, to help him to, of course, fix what went wrong, and then debug later to say that, okay, this is what we could have done better. That said, of course, everything that Suraj says is very important to, make sure that we are hitting your targets every single day, and obviously being there with a purpose, right? And good people don't want to make those mistakes, and that's where you know that you've achieved good culture, right? Because they are actually feeling bad about what they did, and then being there for them to say that it's fine, you made this mistake, it's okay, let's fix it, everything is fixable, is what matters a lot. And also, interestingly, this is the different aspects that everyone brings to the table, right? This is where I think as co-founders coming together, you're bringing so many different perspectives to the table. And honestly, this is how we formed culture. So if it was just one founder being aggressive, that would have built bad culture. If it was just one founder being empathetic as I am, it would again build bad culture. And if it was just one founder being very target oriented, that would also build bad culture. But having a balance of everything, having a balance of that empathy, being target oriented, being realistic, and to a great extent being aggressive at times as well, because that's what the situation demands, is super important. And that is culture coming together for you.
You killed it, huh, with that answer. Lovely. Honestly, when you said like toxic workplace or whatever, it would have been a toxic workplace. A lot of people do hate their managers, let's say, in their 9 to 5. And a lot of people do talk about bad culture. What what makes it a bad culture? I know what makes it a good culture, but what makes it a bad culture? Like, is it when people are too selfish or take credit, or what is a bad culture?
I think for me, it's like, are we enabling individual growth along with company growth? And the minute you see people struggling to grow as humans, that's when you know something's wrong, and they're probably not going to fit in, or like they need to find something where they're much better placed.
Your number one or number twos don't need to love you. Okay, that is something that people need to get out of their minds, right? They just need to have equal amount of respect for you and for their peers and for people that they're working with probably below them as well, like your number one, number two, number three, whatever hierarchical level you follow. Bad culture is when they're constantly living in fear, right? So that's something that I faced. Company that I joined, overhired erroneously, realized too late that they've overhired, and then they would just put unnecessary pressure on all of junior analysts, right? That's not how you treat employees. That's not how you treat team members. That's not how you build culture. Because you're living in fear of losing your job. It's making you so insecure. How do you expect to grow personally when you're constantly living in that insecurity, right? When you don't know, if you're being constantly told that, okay, you're not good enough, if you're constantly being tested, if you're constantly being forced to over deliver when you can't, right, is something that is bad culture.